Hello, hello, and welcome to this channel, Stone the Crane. I have HJ in the studio again today, and we are going to say bring your umbrellas, get your parasols ready because the Ultra Storm is coming. It is a coming. So, HJ,
Ultra.
Ultra, I like that. I'm going to get that on the shirt, right? Ultra tough, Ultra. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna say I'm not ultra GC because I just don't believe in gender. So I'm just that's not coming into the ultra GC, but I will own ultra. I love it. I love it. Ultra
Ultra
tough, ultra
TERF.
cool, ultra turf, ultra turfing. It's got never ending possibilities. Hey female, how are you? Hey Aaron, how are you? Ultra tough. Ultra tough. I'm like never ending, never ending. So we've had a pretty interesting week here in Australia. We've had a pretty interesting week where Polly's put the kettle on and then Suki's taken it straight back off again, HJ.
Yep. Yeah, a
So
lot of
there was
tiptoeing.
yeah. There was promises and thoughts and of possible what do you call it? Government looking into shit. Hey,
Yeah,
Karen,
so
how are you?
there were two different things that came up this week. So we have the South Australian issue and the Queensland issue. So which
That's
one did you
right.
want to talk about first, Stone?
We'll go South Australia first, hey?
Yeah, sure.
Yep. So there was an article that was shared on Twitter. Let's see if I can share my screen here and pull that up. Let's have a look. Share screen. Um, there we go. That should be able to pull that up. Can everybody see that? Okay.
Yep, that's coming up now. Yep.
Yep. So look, I can't pronounce this guy's last name. I'm not even going to bloody well try. So old Peter here, old mate Peter.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed off landmark a South Australian gender dysphoria inquiry. What the hell? He's killed it
So
off before it's even started.
yes. So this follows last week Shannon Fentiman, the Queensland Attorney General or Shadow Attorney General or whatever the hell she is at the moment, announcing an inquiry into the Queensland Children's Gender Service. And off of the heels of that, South Australia announced that they would be looking, possibly into gender dysphoria. But that didn't get very far, did it?
It literally is a version of Polly put the kettle on. Hey, so there's a few things in the language here that I'm really, hey, I'm just ultra like that. So, but first, I'm going to pull young people, right? No, young people. We're talking about children and we're talking about teenagers. Well, as soon as you see young people, reset your thinking that they're not talking about adults here. So they were going to look at gender dysphoria. There was going to be a vote, but there was no vote.
So the Labor Party are in power in South Australia. Have we got any South Australians in the chat? Any South Australians?
I think we've got a Canadian in the chat, and I've got a feeling we've got another Queenslander in the chat.
So basically, they were looking to perhaps have an inquiry. Yes, Peter Mullen Ukas. Pardon me if I haven't. Hey VF. Pardon me if I haven't got that right. Has basically has put the kibosh on this South Australian inquiry before it's. Oh, great, Sonia. Maybe you can let us know what's going on. But it looks like this South Australian Premier has said no, there will be no conscious vote, and the Labor Party doesn't support this inquiry. So it's all been quashed, basically, before it even began.
Yep. So they seems like it might be a good idea. Let's mention it. Well, actually, we don't think it's a very good idea, and you can all go get fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. So the South Australian Labor.
It is Labor, yes. In the article here, it is, as it says, I'm bitterly disappointed with the discussion by Labor. No, but not surprised.
So anyone not from Australia, Labor is our centre left, and Liberal is our centre right. So you know,
Our Liberals
it's
would be our
pretty
Tories, wouldn't it?
correct. Our Conservatives,
Mm-hmm.
and then our Labor are our more left wing party, but they're still very centre. They're not as far left wing as, say, the Social Democrats or the Greens, or which have much more far, further left positions than Labor. But yeah, very disappointing from state Labor down there in South Australia. So yeah, so they put the kettle on and then took it back off again.
Absolutely. So, do you believe this is like being triggered off what old Shazza, Sharon Fentiman said? You know, I love calling her Shazza, HJ. I can't help myself. Anytime I hear her, I do not hear Shannon, I hear Shazza.
It could be. It could be coming off the back of all of this Tavistock stuff as well, because there has been a systematic review in England, and all of our Australian clinics are modelled off that. System of GIDS, gender identity service for young people and adolescents. So I'll just pull up what's going on in Queensland for you. Just hang on a moment, see if I can share the screen. So
cheers, mate. Hey Lola, how are you? Thank you for coming back on the Wednesday afternoon here.
Actually,
lovely to see you again in the comments, in the chat here, Karen. I really appreciate you popping in, hun.
So can you guys see this? Okay, Gender clinic under review.
They should be able to see it now.
You guys can see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so a review of the gender clinic in the Australian state of Queensland has begun. Senior health officials have described the evaluation of the Children's Hospital Clinic, which gives puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones, as a policy that enables surgery in the private sector, as independent. However, the review may involve nothing more than checking the clinic's gender-affirming operations for compliance with the contentious gender-affirming treatment guideline issued in 2018, let's get rid of that, by the Royal Children's Hospital Melbourne, promoted as the Australian Standards of Care. So basically what Bernard is telling us here, that the problem with this inquiry is that the Queensland Labor Party have stacked it with Queensland health officials, so it's not going to be an independent inquiry at all. And Gillian Spencer has Dr. Gillian Spencer has a petition going around about that, to petition the state government to put an independent auditor in charge of looking, or an independent investigation team into looking into Queensland Health, rather than the head of Queensland Health. So yeah, it's not looking like that's gonna go anywhere either, unfortunately. So you can find that article. That's by that's been going around last week, and that's by Bernard Lane, if anyone's interested in looking at that. But yeah, so
that definitely smells like a conflict of interest to me there, HJ. I don't know about you. It's definitely got the stank of of a conflict of interest if they're not allowing anybody other than themselves to have a say.
Correct. And I mean, look what's happened in the UK is a systematic review. That's what we need here is a full systematic review. But if you can support Gillian Spencer's petition that she's been putting around, please go and find that out. She's a great child psychiatrist that actually has she was working at the gender clinic in Queensland, and she was a bit of a whistleblower and came out and spoke about the need for an inquiry. And now the inquiry is happening. It's obviously looks like it's going to go nowhere, unfortunately. So lots of tiptoeing around the subject.
Gillian Spencer, I'm not quite sure if I've come across her work before. I think she
was on that Four Corners earlier last year. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Her work is really,
she's amazing.
She's definitely the watchful waiting.
Yes.
Is very much the format protocol that she sort of goes by.
Well, her job's under threat at the moment, for speaking out. I think she actually went to the Kelly J. Keane event in Canberra here in Australia so that she wouldn't be recognised. And people who were at the Canberra event circulated photos of women at that event around the TRAs around Australia, and they found out who she was. So,
do you remember that in Brisbane, HJ? They had that huge telescopic lens.
Yeah,
correct. I mean, all they got to do is zoom in on my wrinkles, mate. That's all you get. You can identify every single one. They're as beautiful as the constellation.
And what else has been going? It looks like Louise Elliott's had a win.
Yes, Louise Elliott's had a win. That's a good thing for us Aussies, as well as Kerry Smith had her win. Was that a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, so and Kerry.
Yeah, so there's a couple of smaller wins, smaller kudoses.
Yeah, I think Kerry Lee's 4 from 5, so she's beaten 4 out of the 5.
Yep.
Things various orders they've put against her, and she's beaten 4 out of 5 of them. So keep going, Kerry Lee. We're all gunning for you.
Absolutely, and it's just so important, regardless, to hold the line. We can have a bit of a joke about the Ultra GC and the rebranding that's going on now, and those who are literally choosing sides, right? Like I said a couple of weeks ago, choosing sides. We can have a giggle about that, but it is quite a serious thing to actually know who is not using the pronouns and who is using the pronouns, who we can stand side by side with, and who we are wasting our time by doing that with. Do you know what I mean? I'm just not investing any of my time into true trans. So I want to know who I'm standing next to. I'm not doing a glaze over look at these people anymore.
Yeah. So in other great news today, Julia Long's on Twitter. Everyone,
round of applause.
So if you can go and find her account, Louise Elliott wants to put one.
Welcome, Sex Wars Australia. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah, Sex Wars Australia in the house. We love your work.
I do like your channel.
That's great, Lola Moth. You're definitely going great. That's fabulous. Cool. Yeah, and then I think within the wider sort of global movement this week. I mean, and this year, there's been sort of these rebrandings trying to be going on and confusion of terms. And yeah, it's all a bit crazy.
Yeah. Um, Sex Wars, would you like to come into studio and have a chat with us today? Because you're more than welcome. I'll drop the link like I do every Wednesday afternoon and invite people in.
Yeah, or Sonia, if you wanted to have a chat about what's going on in South Australia, or Lola, if you wanted to jump in and have a chat about what's going on in Tassie, you don't have to show your face. You can just block the camera,
Yep,
like
absolutely.
me. That's
More
no
than
problem.
welcome, more than welcome. I'll just, while we're still having a chat, I'll just jump in here and I will change the, I think I can edit this and change the link. Sometimes I think when I say, would anyone like to come in? I think people go, no, don't pick me. But I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from you. So we're going to whack that across the banner. Look at that. How pretty is that? There we go. And also we can drop that in the comment itself. Oh, Sex Wars, I am a huge fangirl. Like, I am like a huge fangirl. I have no shame about fangirling out. Now, do I, HJ? I don't. I must say, I don't.
Yeah, and what else has been going on in the turf world this week?
I don't know. I mean, it's
Looks
once
like
we.
things are happening in Alberta.
Oh, absolutely. God, yes. Yes, yes. Ah, I can't even. I'm sorry. I can't even. I can't even handle people promoting their besties, mate. I'm sorry. I'm really struggling with this. Hey, people supporting
Yeah,
their
yeah, we
besties.
saw some big movement in Alberta this week. So the state premier in Alberta, she's a female. Am I correct, Femma? She looks like a pretty rad chick. Um, she's trying to bring in changes to child transition. As far as I've just had a look over it quite quickly in the last few days. Let's see if we can pull something up. Danielle Smith, yes. Yes, I have seen. And then there was some counter protests to those changes over the weekend. Yeah, so very interesting. Very interesting. So, Alberta, watch this space. Danielle Smith's coming through. Is she conservative or is she left leaning, Femma? No idea. Not
Oh, no.
sure.
There we go.
She's trying to yes, conservative. Yes, I thought that might be the case. So well
So,
done
yeah.
to Danielle Smith.
Yeah. Look,
Um,
it brings attention to it to begin with, and that's one of the most important things. Is especially in Canada, shining a light. Any light that's shined on this issue is definitely beneficial. Then we'll discuss who's pushing what. But for there to be some light shined on this problem over in Canada, that's definitely a good thing. It can't be a bad thing.
yes, I saw she had a round table today, or maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure, Fema. I saw she had a round table with stakeholders in the issue, and Eva from Redux was able to attend that, which is quite interesting. I'm not sure about her choice of a +1, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Mm, mm. Look, again, I have a huge, big issue with the whole pronouns thing. I really do, and I know HJ, you know where I stand on this, and that is, I just really don't think if you're talking about safeguarding and um, gatekeeping, especially for youngins like little uns, children and teenagers. I really don't think you should have anybody anywhere that uses wrong sex pronouns. It's just not good. I mean, you can't sit down and tell a child, no, you can't be a she, her, or he, she, whatever, if there's somebody sitting on a panel that's doing it. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see how that's helpful at all when trying to shine a light on this. We can't be going, well, look, it worked for them. I just, or didn't work for them, or it's, yeah, no,
There was
no.
another issue in Canada this week with the taking of the 14-year-old away from the American parents and then taking them over to Canada. I
So
thought I
I
saw
believe, yeah,
something about that in Redux.
yes. Okay, so I believe that the system um, came in and took the 14-year-old
Mm-hmm.
because the parents would not allow, I think it's a biological girl, to tune out, and fucking rightly too. And so those parents are now going to be charged with um with not allowing their kid to tune out.
They
So
actually took
there's two things. One, they already removed the child, and now they're going to go after the
yeah, but
parents.
they removed the child from
And put it in foster
Montana,
care. Yeah,
which is in America. Am I correct? And then
I,
they
be-
took her to Canada, which
I
is
believe
a
so.
different. It's a different country.
There you go. Yeah, which is, I believe so. So the foster carer that they've put the girl in is questionable too, I believe. On top of
Yes, I heard.
everything else, they've put her in questionable
Yes,
care.
across an international border. How is that not human trafficking? When I saw it, I was like, unbelievable. And this family have been,
Accused.
uh, they've been, the family that they placed her with have been in trouble for abusing kids before as
Yes.
well. Like, it's just insanity. Absolute insanity. Yeah, no true trans, no true trans. That seems to be the topic of the week.
Yep. So
Because I think a lot of, air quotes, feminists were coming out of the gate strong at the beginning of the year, trying to sell us a bit of this true trans thing. I know the book we just read, Hannah Barnes, ended up being a true trans pitch, which I was very disappointed in. Julia, yeah, Julia Long's back on. Yeah, we're stoked with her. Maybe not Julie Bindel, but yeah, we're very happy with Julia Long. It's great to have her back in the game. So,
have you seen her gift? The gift is fabulous. The gift is her looking over her shoulder and doing that little eyebrow
the
raise and
Giphy.
wink.
Yep.
Fucking so fucking good, mate. Like, seriously, I love
Sitting,
that gift.
and what's her handle? It's something like sitting on a chair or something.
Yes, yes, yes. It's at yes, at sitting on a chair or something. But it's so good. Like, I'm like, does she like, I'm a heterosexual woman, but that action of looking over her shoulder, that knowing and righteous smile and wink is the fucking sexiest thing I've seen in a long time. And I'm like, how can I mimic that shit? Like, seriously, my husband walks in the room, I'm just gonna knowingly look over my shoulder and give him a Julia Long fucking wink, mate.
She's a queen.
It's just so powerful. I just love that, and it's a great gift. I'll be using it on my ex account when I've got something to say that it'll be perfect for. I'll definitely be using the Julia Long gift. It will be the gift that just keeps giving.
Did anyone catch Kelly J on Andrew Gold? That was a pretty big get for her this week. Andrew Gold has quite a large audience,
Yeah, I
quite a
actually
large
really enjoyed
reach.
that too. Did you listen to it? I did.
I thought she looked amazing. Like, I just couldn't get over how beautiful her. Like, I'm not, I don't really go in for fashion. I'm a bit of a basic bee
Oh, you're a
myself.
basic. Are you a
But
basic
I have to
bogan?
say, she was slaying. The hair, the clothes, the eye makeup. I just thought she did really well. It was
That's
a bit the chat was a bit disappointing. The chat was a bit misogynistic, but I thought she killed it. I thought she was great.
yes, Andrew Gold. Dot heretic or what heretics or whatever he goes by. Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I actually thought it was a really good conversation. I think everything was articulated really well, really beautifully, and they covered quite. You know what I mean? Like in that hour,
Mhm.
they covered quite a bit of the whole. Right to the a lot of it was the fetishist side of it though, in that
I was
and
about to
getting
say he kind
yeah.
of got stuck in that conversation a little bit. He just, yeah, it was
I think
disappointing, but I
because
think she pulled him away from it quite well.
yeah, it's literally I suppose if it's literally maybe some men don't get it. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Can you be that far with a fetish and not know that you have a fetish? Do you know what I mean?
I think as well, like, I mean, these are pretty depraved things that go on that, you know, some people just might not want to know about because they're not hanging out in those corners of the internet or, you know, yeah, it's, yeah, I'm not surprised by men's depravity, but men are always surprised.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know why, because you know that they've got their locker room talk. You know that the way they speak about women when women aren't in the room and when,
Mm.
is a whole different ball game. Yeah, yeah, true. I was a bit disappointed too, the female, that she didn't focus more on the porn aspect of it, because at the end of the day, where are they getting the triggers for all these fetishes from? It's not like it's the 1980s in Queensland and porn on VCR is fucking banned. Yes, that was a thing. Porn in Queensland in the 80s was fucking banned. So it's not like
Um, Lola was just saying the interview was much longer. I think Andrew kept saying, "Oh, come on my Patreon afterwards for the extras," and da 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 da. I think men like that with platforms that size are always going to monitor, try and get you onto their Patreon for the extra overs, and
mhm,
um, which is disappointing, but he's trying to get his bag, I suppose.
absolutely. Well, I've got extra bits. I got lots of extra bits, mate, but we'll give it a way for free right here, eh?
Anything going on in Turf World this week?
Hey, anybody in the chat where you are? Anything going on in your hometowns? It might be a bit quiet a week on the home front here, apart from promises of things that never happen. So, do you think there will be an inquiry in Queensland, or do you think, like South Australia, that'll just be knocked on the head there, HJ?
If there is an inquiry, I think Bernard Lane's really hit the nail on the head. Nothing will be found. What needs to happen is what happened in the UK is a full systematic, a shutdown and a full systematic review. Um, yeah, and to be fair, that review hasn't been completed in the UK yet. We're still waiting for the CASA review to be completed. So it would be hard for any other Commonwealth nation really to dip their toe in, I think, before the results of that review and the air quotes way forward is, sort of figured out by another country bigger than us, or do you know what I mean? Like, that's and to be honest with you, I think Labor are in a lot of trouble in Queensland.
Absolutely agree.
I think Anastasia Palaszczuk has just stood aside. I think Shannon Fentiman took a lot of hits to her reputation over the self-ID. She was Minister for Women, and I think they've pulled her back out of that position of Attorney General, Minister for Women, and they put
Yvette Darth
Vader in. Yes,
Yeah,
Yvette
Darth
Darth.
Vader. Yeah,
I call her
Darth
Darth Vader.
Yeah, she's
I
over.
think because Shannon is their prize girl. I don't think
so
they
too.
want.
Yeah. So
I don't think they want shit sticking her to her reputation, because I think they want her to be the next Anastasia. I think Stephen Miles is just holding the seat. I think they may get the boot at the next election, and I think Shannon is their golden girl for the next
for the comeback
election cycle. And I think this is probably her trying to win back some credibility that she lost over the self-ID stuff. But Shannon, we see right through you.
Yeah, no,
we see you.
She's definitely the comeback girl. That's how I see it.
We see you. We want a systematic inquiry. Sign Gillian Spencer's petition. Where we won't be fooled. We are ultra. We are ultra. No half measures here, ladies.
I love it. I'm just ultra. Just ultra. Not ultra's GC, just completely ultra. But no, they did that. Definitely did that. They switched in. They switched them out. So when Self ID came in, it was definitely Yvette Darth that was doing the photo shoot on the stairs with the tranny flags and all that. That was Yvette Darth.
I mean, they pulled her out of an attorney general's position. She's only young. She's only in her. I think Shannon's only in her maybe 30s. So I think she's Anastasia's protege.
Yeah.
And I think she's being protected for the next election cycle. And they're just putting Stephen Mills in. He can hold the,
he can keep the seat warm.
They'll probably lose the next cycle. I would say they're in big trouble. Labor's in big. I mean, Labor's in Australia and New Zealand. Labor have just been kicked out in New Zealand. Labor have just been. Anastasia just got the arse. Dan Andrews just got the arse a few months ago. So we've just had a massive referendum that Labor ran, and it just went down 60-40. It wasn't even close, and that was a massive loss for federal Labor. So I think Labor have a bit of egg on their face. I think they're probably going to hold. She's still quite young. I think they're going to hold her back for the next election cycle and let Stephen Mills.
The cycle is 3 years, isn't it?
I thought it was a 4-year cycle up here. She was born in 83. She was born in 83, so she's about.
Yeah.
She's just a bit older than me, so I was 81. So, she's only just on 40. So I think they've let Stephen Mills take the losing position.
Yep, he's just keeping that seat warm, and that's why that Darth was in that photo opportunity at the.
Correct.
Yes.
So that Shannon. So this shit doesn't stick to Shannon Fentiman.
Absolutely. When they look back at that, they'll see Yvette Darth.
I think they're trying to keep her reputation clean, because remember when they said, "What is a woman?" and she was just standing there with the blonde hair, going, whoever says they're a woman. And
Yeah,
she copped so much flack over that. That just became a meme for the next fortnight. And I think they pulled her out of the Attorney General's position shortly after that. I think
definitely. Yeah,
they want
definitely.
to salvage
Yeah,
her reputation.
yeah. And Yvette Darth is also blonde. So it's like, oh, it wasn't her. It was never her. It was that other blonde lady. I'm sure it was.
So what are the other issues going on in turf world? What's up in turf world, women? Besides, people not knowing the difference between GC and turf. Some people are saying GC Ultra, and I'm like, honey, you're a turf.
just own turf. Or just own ultra. We could just be ultra.
yeah.
Ultra awesome. Ultra truthful. I love it. So you can just add it to anything. Hello, it seems to be a little bit quiet in the turf world.
I don't think things are going very well in New South Wales with the self-ID stuff.
No.
I don't think that's going well at all.
Well, they are like one of the last men standing here in Australia.
They
HK.
are, and they're also the wealthiest state. They're probably the most sophisticated, highly populated, wealthiest state in the country. The first state. And I don't think it's going well.
See, if they started self ID there, I don't think they would have had it in its easier ride pushing it through than what they have had. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there would have been way more pushback. And I think, like,
I
in
think what they're
Queensland,
trying to do, I think I read something about they're trying to slip it in the Equality Act or something else instead because they couldn't get the self-ID through. But if anyone's in the chat from New South Wales, let us know, or Sonia, if you know, that'd be great.
look, I think the reason why they got it through here in Queensland is because nobody knew. It was so damn stealth. It was literally like,
well, the issue in Queensland is we're such a small state. We don't have
the numbers.
An upper house. No, we don't have an upper house. We've only got a lower house. So we've only got one House of Parliament. So on the numbers alone in Queensland, with the submissions, I think like from when I was reading the submissions, over 50% of the submissions were against the self-ID. And if we had been in a state that had a Senate, that would have gone to the Senate for review on the submissions alone. And in Queensland, because we don't have a Senate, they were just able to push it through. And because Labor have a huge majority, they were just able to push it through. And they also, when you were saying they were using stealth, yes, they did. So the consultation period was over the Christmas holidays. So this is when...
it was dropped on their last meeting.
Yeah, even the Queensland Law Society actually, yes, Labor does vote as a unanimous block. Yes, this is what's happened in South Australia. They've said there will be no conscience vote. We are voting as a block. Therefore there will be no inquiry. It didn't even go to a vote, unfortunately, which was a shame. But
see, that is a change in Queensland too, because since COVID, we've had
huge population increase. So
absolutely,
we're talking over 5 million people, and they only had 240 submissions on a piece of legislation that affects 5 million people. And most of those submissions weren't in favor of this of self-ID going through. But because they had the huge voting block and there is no Senate, there's no House of Review, they were just able to push it through. And this is what I think's happened in a lot of the smaller states. But that's not going to happen in New South Wales because they have a Senate. But even the Queensland Law Society wrote to them and said, we haven't had a chance. We close our we close our offices mid-December and everyone goes on Christmas holidays. Like when they were replying to Parliament, they were saying, listen, we haven't even had a chance to look at it. We suggest you give organisations more time to submit, because even the Law Society said that, there were lots of multicultural perspectives, for example, missing from the submissions. There was, so many people didn't get to submit because over that time frame when the submissions open, everyone is on a 6-week summer holiday. Wasn't that convenient?
Like, it's like, I'm a mum, right? My kids are older now, but it's like the kid that's got the birthday in the school holidays, right? I've got one of those kids has a
No one
birthday.
comes to your party.
No one comes to
I'm
your party.
a school holiday kid. No one used to come to my party.
I've got one of those babies, right? School holiday baby. So you're giving out the invite, the last day of school. The kid's so excited. No one RSVPs. Why? Because that school bag hasn't been cleaned out until they're going back to the week before they're going back to school, right? When they're finding the moldy sandwich and the invitation to the kids' party that they were supposed to go to. But that's what it was like, right? People were worried about.
They knew that was hashtag by design. That was absolutely by design.
Absolutely.
That the consultation period fell over the 6-week break when every government department in the state was closed. Every community group in the state was closed. Every family was on holidays. Every church was closed. But I think that was all by design. I think we know.
Yeah, it was literally like.
So they're having a bit more trouble with it in New South Wales, but we shall see.
Well, the issue with, I suppose, New South Wales people have got, New South Williams have, is it's already in Queensland, it's already in Melbourne, so they're going to say, well, what is wrong with you? It's already here, there, and everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's
they'll get it in. They'll get it in somehow. Like I said, they're already trying a workaround. I thought I heard they were trying to work it into the Equality Act instead. But if hey, Seawolf, ultras.
Hey, ultras, hey, Seawolf, you're welcome to jump in if you want to jump and click that link. You're welcome to come into studio and have a chat.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty much anyone got any news from New Zealand? We got any of our New Zealand sisters?
We normally have a Landy in the chat, and there's no Landys in the chat today. No, have a little cry about that. I do love a Landy in my chat.
So what about this anniversary for Kelly J? When did she come on tour last year?
So that was in March. That was in March. So it was literally went over like the 3-4 weeks of March. So I'm pretty excited to do a couple of weeks and get people in and have a chat to anybody that was either at one of the speaking events or for whatever reason they couldn't make it to a speaking event. They watched it on YouTube, because even if you were there or even not there, it really did affect the whole consciousness of this movement down here.
We've already organised a few people. I think Lest We Remember went to the Adelaide event, and she'd like to come on panel on the anniversary. And we've already spoken with the Landys; they're going to hop on. And also Linda.
And Michelle
from
over
New Zealand,
in
and
Melbourne.
Michelle. So if you're interested in being on that Kelly J. Keane anniversary panel, what's your email, Stone?
So it's up in the little bar going across there. I don't know if you can see that, everybody.
Oh, yes, stonecronechaos@gmail.com.
Gmail, yes.
So if you're at the WA event, if you're at the Adelaide event, if you're a Hobart lady, if you're a Melbourne chickie, if you're a Auckland lady, if you're a Brisbane gal,
Yeah, and
we'd
we're gonna. I
love you to
reckon.
come along to our anniversary panel
Yeah,
and
yeah,
talk
and I
about
reckon we
where
take
we
it over.
are.
We take it over the whole month. Hey, we make a party of this because I think it's worth celebrating. Um, it's definitely changed the whole environment of where we were and where we're at, the way we think about it a little bit differently. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty excited to celebrate a month of 12 months since the Kelly J. Keane tour. Um, you know, unfortunately, I've got to call it. It literally changed people. It changed some people, not for the better. HJ, some people got a little bit unhappy with Kelly J coming over. I actually heard certain people actually say that this was their state and this was their country and that Kelly J had no right being here at all. And then others getting very upset that when a celebrity comes to town,
Well, I
nobody
know
will
there
help with
is.
locals, but when there's a celebrity, so it brought out some fucking ugly. I can tell you that it brought out some fucking ugly in people.
I think
It brought out some good.
there is a group of similar to the UK sock femmes and lib femmes that have spoken out, like Women's Place UK and Jane Claire Jones and those women, saying, oh, Kelly Jane looking down their nose and saying, oh, it's not the right kind of action and you're working with the right wing and we need to be, changing this from within the left wing. And I think there is a group of women like that in Australia, very similar to the sock femmes and the lib femmes in the UK, that don't agree with Kelly J's stance on working with the right and don't agree with her direct street action, so the open mic events. They don't sort of agree with that as um, a tactic that we should be using, and that it puts women in danger. But boy, oh boy, no one was talking about this issue in Australia until she came, honey. Do you know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
absolutely,
Like
HJ.
you can criticize her all you want, but we got our first front page on a broadsheet on this issue because of her.
And that was
Australian
the
women
Australian.
got this
Yep,
issue on the front page of a national newspaper for the first time. Before she came, no one would discuss this issue.
absolutely.
Women were losing their jobs, so
So
whether
the
you
first
like it or not,
look,
it has thrust this issue into the spotlight in Australia and New
look,
Zealand.
there was
Uh,
nobody doing a speakers corner type event in Australia. There was one group doing it, one, and that was in Melbourne. That was Women's Action Group Melbourne. They were
mhm.
doing open mic events before Kelly J got here, but they were the only group doing it. The other group that was a feminist group they platformed their favorite speakers. So they put 4 speakers up and they're the only ones that get to speak. So that's not an open mic platform. So the only one, and this is to my knowledge, was over Women's Action Group Melbourne. We're doing an open mic type Kelly J style, Speakers Corner style, before Kelly J got here. But up
And
until
how
then,
many, I just know so many women from Australia that even just got on Twitter and opened up an account and started, even if it's an anonymous account, started like talking about this and joining Kelly J's signal groups and making connections with other women. So I don't think the importance or the impact of that tour can be brushed over. I think it's left a lasting legacy. um, you know
absolutely, and
um,
it really. Um, it also showed how important it is for the average bogan, just the average woman, the average Sheila, to be able to have their say at an open type mic events. And you know, those type events are important. Um, again, here, you know, unpleasant shit went down. What am I going to say? Unpleasant shit went down, and I can tell you, a lot of people worked away from turfing altogether because of unpleasantness. You know what I mean? Because of women, as a quote unquote, who rode in on Kelly Jake's coattails. You know what I
I
mean?
think there's a lot of women all around the world that have
Yeah.
rolled off her coattails and are now, you know, but
Calling himself GP.
in terms of the message, there's no one, you know, that I'm interested in terms of their hard lines, like Manawahini, absolutely. Women's Action Group Melbourne.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, no, we're all so thankful she came, and yeah, can't wait to reflect on that. I'm not sure what else is going on in Turf World this week.
But I mean, it's undeniable that that particular structure that Kelly J brings is a winning structure, an open mic
Absolutely.
event. That
I
it's
think
not
I think the apolitical, the organization being apolitical is very important too, because she's been able to draw in women from across the political spectrum, not just progressive women, not just conservative women, not just, you know, all kinds of women. And to win, we need all the women.
absolutely.
So,
And
that was the other thing. That was the other news I had as well. The births, deaths, and marriages. I put in a call to births, deaths, and marriages this week.
awesome.
Yes, we were speaking about that Seawolf, about what's been going on in Alberta. Just bear with me a moment.
Are you going to share the screen?
Yeah, I'll just see if I've got it bookmarked. Just give me a moment. So I gave births, deaths, and marriages a call because the BDMR legislation, that's what they put it through on, is the births, deaths, and marriages legislation. So I don't think I can find that. Did I book it? Open. I thought I bookmarked it. No, there is a mailing list though, to find out when these changes are coming into Queensland, because
People have said that these changes were active of the first this year, and that was not true.
No, it's not true. So there's a so she signed it, but it actually hasn't been the changes haven't been made within the births, deaths, and marriages department, and you have to go on a mailing list to find out about that. And I am on the mailing list, but here we go. Here it is. I'm gonna tick. So I'll present and I'll share screen. Sorry about me talking out loud to myself. I'm a bit like that.
All good, mate. All good, mate. Once it pops up, I'll whack it on.
Here we go. Share. Okay, so this is. Can you guys see this?
Yep. Thank you.
Births, deaths, and marriages registration 2023 alert. Okay, so it's this
alert.
You've got to go and give them your first name, your surname, your email address, what changes you're interested in to find out when this legislation is going to be enacted. Okay, so this is just here. Provide your details. I can drop that link in the chat for you guys if you'd like, if it'll
Yes,
let
please.
me.
Yes, please. If you could do that.
But yeah, if you're a Queensland woman and you just want to crash that page and say, oh, I'd like to know when I'm losing my rights, thanks. I'd like to know when I can stop taking my little girl to the pool, thanks.
Yeah, no,
please.
honestly, go.
You didn't hear.
Yeah, because people are literally in this movement telling women that these things were going into effect of the 1st of this year, and that is bullshit.
So
Just
that's
they're
not true.
making
I've
shit
put a
up
call
and they're
through.
just
So
saying whatever
right
the fuck they
here.
want.
So can you see timing of changes? The second heading down there, stoned. Changes to the law.
Yes,
Timing of changes. Can you see that little purple link? Provide your details.
Yep. Can you zoom in on that on your end?
Hang on a check. Yep.
Yep, and just sort of zoom in on that.
This section here, provide your details.
There we go. Look at that. Yeah.
You click on this, it takes you to a Microsoft form. Okay, you need to provide your first name, your last name, your email address, and and to find out when this is how secretive they're being about it. To find out when we're going to lose our rights, ladies, in Queensland. So we still don't have a date. And I wonder why they're dragging their heels.
You wonder, hey, like, I think it's got to do with the hate speech.
Perhaps. I think it's because Labor are in trouble across the board in Australia at the moment.
That's true too. So
federally and across, Victoria, New Zealand, Queensland. I think people are fed up with the left at a state level and a federal level. And I think they're kind of being a bit softly. I don't know what it is, but yeah, if you want to find out when you're going to lose your rights, ladies, go to that Microsoft form and you can find out.
Yeah.
You'll
so just remember, this means if you see a man in the female toilet, he's not allowed self ID into that space at this moment in time. He should not be in there.
Correct.
So you can say, get the fuck out, you're a man. You still have that right. So the definition of woman, they can say it's hate speech, but technically it is not hate speech at this moment in time. So I think that's really important, is understanding that this has not actually hit our shores and been completely, utterly finalised, and that is an important thing. Just because it was the beginning of the year.
I haven't checked the legislative queue in a while to see what's going on with the hate speech laws. There's only a few more sitting. I looked last year, so
it was the last one last year that we looked into, remember? And they didn't have time for it.
Mm-hmm. So it'll it'll pass over into the legislative queue.
Yeah.
So I'll have a look at that during the week and see when that's coming up, so we can notify women if they'd like to be in the gallery and express their dissent at, again, these laws that have been rushed through in stealth, very little consultation with community groups, no consultation with women's groups. And how many dead women in Australia now so far in the new year already?
Last time I checked, the Australian femicide, we're at eight women.
Eight dead women. Where's our fucking hate crime?
That's this year.
Shannon, 8 dead women. That's in Australia already.
This year.
Which is and a lot of those women have been in Queensland. I think at least 3 or 4 have been Queensland women, which is an absolute tragedy. Yeah. And my hearts go out to those families. But We don't
And
need
that's a
hatred.
really valuable resource if anybody is on X, the Australian femicide. Go follow them because it really is flooring, especially if you're an Aussie, to keep that number in your head because it literally goes on par. Like it's almost like one per week average here.
Yeah, it's really it's upsetting. You know, about that we're not making any headway with that sort of stuff. So if you can give them a follow on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, that'd be fabulous. Yeah, where's our hate crime, Shannon? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Well,
how
fuck,
many
hey.
how many how many dead transvestites in Australia so far this year? None. But we've already, we're not even through January and we already have 8 dead women. I think it's a shocking indictment on the state of affairs, with relation to domestic violence. That's what Shannon Fentiman should be doing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's her job.
She's
But
dropped the ball.
she doesn't apparently she doesn't know what a woman is, so I don't know how she's going to help us.
It's anyone who feels like it at the time. On your Shaz. Fuck we.
But yeah, if you want to go and crash that website, you're more than welcome to, ladies. But I think that's about all the updates I had this week. Stone, unless there's anything.
Yeah, no, I think that's about it. I think we'll call it.
Unless anyone wants to jump in.
Yeah, I don't think any. I would love Sex Wars to jump on. That would be great. They're welcome.
She
Anybody
said Sex Wars said they might jump on next week.
Yeah. So
they're down in New South Wales, so
the time's slightly different down there because I think they still have daylight savings, which we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be that would be the difference between us and the New South Wales. Yeah, no, we'll call it a show. Before you go though, HJ, and before anyone else goes, I'll let you know that I'm going to be over on VF's channel tomorrow morning. Will be 9:30 our time. Yeah, so normally with VF, she's made me part of her TERFy tribe, her ultra tribe. Yeah,
ultra
tribe. Yeah, so I should be able to co-stream on this channel. So cross fingers, it goes well. It'll be on VF's channel, but co-streamed on this channel. And I do believe there will be a Kiki on the show. So I'm so excited to have a chat with Kiki because I have missed her so much.
We have decided on our new book for the month.
Oh, yes, we have. Sorry. Yes, we have. We are going to do drum rolls, please. The book of the month this week will be Abigail Dreyer. Is that how you say her name?
Schreier.
Yeah.
Yes. Irreversible Damage. By Abigail Schreier.
Yes. So we have the link for that. So I'll make a little TERF Book Club ad. I'll make a little ad for the channel. TERF Book Club ad. The link for that will be in the description. Yeah, see, we'll love you to pop in next week.
Yeah,
that would
absolutely.
That would it'd be great.
I really want to thank Fema for sharing that PDF with us. I think it was a great suggestion, and it's been on my hit list. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading that. Stone will put all that information on the on her Twitter page.
Yep.
I also put some information on last week's book club in the comments section. I did forget to touch on Transing the Gay Away. That was something that was brought up in the book. They knew from the statistics alone, from their watchful waiting cohort, that up to 80% of kids, only 5% of the cohort ever transitioned. The rest would either go on to be happy heterosexual or gay or bisexual adults, you know? So then they go to, the 2000s, and they're transing every single kid that was put on puberty blockers. 100% of those children were going on to transition. So they knew that they were transing children that would possibly, grow into a gay, a bisexual identity as an adult. There was actual gay staff did raise concerns with Polly Carmichael about the open homophobia in GIDS, and she did brush that under the carpet. And there was also quite open homophobia from mermaids, and parents actually coming in and saying to clinicians, "Oh, I'd rather have a trans kid than a gay kid," and clinicians they would report that to executive, and executive would just roll out the puberty blockers. So, that was absolutely concerning. It was a big conversation point in the book, and apologies, I didn't bring that up in my review. There was some great statistics about that, and it's obvious, it's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah. So if anybody in the chat missed that, the book review we did on Monday, the 5th, is up. So go check that out. You did a great job, HJ. You totally did a great job of that, and I really appreciate the work you did. It was fabulous.
Well, thanks for everyone who came along this week and came along to book club, and I'm really looking forward to Irreversible Damage, and thanks to FEMA for coming through with those PDFs. I actually put a whole list of suggestions that we've received. So some of the titles that came up were The Man Who Would Be Queen by J. Michael Bailey, 1984 by George Orwell, both Germaine Greer's books, Menopause and The Female Eunuch. So we've keep those suggestions rolling, guys.
We're definitely going to do 1984. That's definitely on the list.
I think I've still got my copy from year 8. I think it was my first big novel that my favorite English teacher, Mr. Murray, taught me, and I've still got my copy, and it's held together with a piece of elastic. Oh, night, Lola. Thanks so much for coming this evening.
Yes, 1984 was Lola's suggestion, and I'm like, excellent, love it.
Yeah, because
also The Handmaid's Tale. So they're two definites for me this year: Handmaid's Tale and 1984.
If you read The Handmaid's Tale, let me tell you, it is. I read The Handmaid's Tale. My mum put that in my lap when I was 14, and because I just used to eat books, and I mean, it was all about the Cold War. It was in the context of the Cold War, and a post-nuclear Holocaust world where most of the women had been sterilized because of the nuclear war. So a lot of that was lost in the TV series. But I don't know, Margaret Atwood, she did that thing with the gun to her head last year. I'm not really happy with her. She was one of my favorites. I love Cat's Eyes. I love Handmaid's Tales. She was one of my teenage heroes, and really inspired me to go and study English at uni. And I just, who did she say was a man last year? Or
a woman.
She made that hostage statement, and I just think you fucking sell out, because she's got.
It makes the ritual so much more creepy that it could be a fucking tranny and a fucking
She's currently under contract with Hulu, so
of course. Of course.
I think, come on, Margaret, You've got a bloody she is a pet. She is a Dr. Petroon betrayer. I think, Margaret, come on, lady. Surely you've got enough money now to be comfortable and say, come on, fuck this. I'm going to say what I think. like, surely you're at a point in your career where, but when she made that statement last year, I thought, is there someone standing up behind her with a gun at her head? You know, I was very disappointed. So I'd have to think very carefully about Handmaid's Tale, but everyone should read it in the original context. A lot of that was lost when she tried to center it in this new world that was kind of like Christo-fascist, you know, like, you know, what would happen if we're in a theocracy, and all of that original context about nuclear war and nuclear holocausts and women losing their fertility because of, you know, a nuclear holocaust was completely lost. And it was, you know, it was written in that. Yeah, she is Aunt Lydia. Fama, I'm very disappointed in her. So Orwell, yes. Atwood, I don't know. We'll have to think about it. I'm a bit crankier at her at the moment.
Yeah, Aaron, we were just talking about that a little earlier, the interview with Kelly J. Keane with Andrew.
Yeah, we were saying that, you know, we were just making some points about pornography and how we wished it went for longer and how fabulous she was looking. So that's about all I've got this evening, Stone, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add.
No, I think we'll call it a night, love, and I'll make up that little ad. Oh no, just before we go, the Google Drive.
Yes.
Google
group. So I am going to set up a Google group for our book club. So the email you see going across the crawl on the bottom of the screen right now, if you would like to join that Google group, that's where I will be dropping, like, for now, we'll still do it on Twitter, but I'll be dropping, you know, the text. We can have a chat as we read in that group. And I can also drop related materials like articles, interviews, and that sort of thing in that group. And you guys can just come in and grab it and have a chat. And if you need to speak to me about where you're up to with your reading, or there was a certain issue that you really wanted to talk about as you were reading, we could do it there, I think. So if you're interested in joining that Google group, drop Stone an email, because I think we will need an email address for you to join that group. But you can just make up a crappy free, like, Hotmail or Gmail one that won't, you know, if you know, like, you don't have to give us your name or anything, or your phone number or anything like that, you know.
So we will so that's that extra service with the book club will be offered. Thank you, Heather, because I personally really appreciate that myself. You know, somewhere where, because HJ and I share quite a bit, so we'd like to be able to share that with you guys moving forward. So
I used to do it with a lot of my classes at school. We just put all the material in there, and then you can just go and get it and consume it at your own pace, in your own time.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, I think that's it. So as I always say, I love you for now and talk to you later. Stay loud, my friends.
Stay loud, Stone.
Stone out and HJ out. See you guys.
Awesome. Have a great night. See ya.